Hi, everybody, and welcome to devotions at the beginning of this week. I pray it's going to be a great week for you. Well, one of the nice things about having a little granddaughter around is listening to the way that she loves to pretend. And especially with Priscilla, my wife, she will have long conversations and she'll say to Priscilla, "Well, you're my mother." And Priscilla will say, "No, I'm not. I'm your granny." Um, no, we're just pretending you are my mother. And even though it's pretense, in a way, it's a reality for her. We've got a big issue around these days. It's called artificial intelligence. And it's got a little bit of pretending about it because artificial intelligence can do almost anything for you. All the Hollywood actors are going on strike because they're going to have pretend people on the screen rather than real ones. The Nike advertising campaign that's coming up, I believe, is going to be made completely of artificially produced images of human beings, and they look almost real. But in fact, it's just pretending. It's not real. Don't let your eyes fool you. Well, there's a verse in the Bible that says we live by faith and not by sight. Is that just pretending? Well, we know the famous story of Jesus walking on the water, and Peter said, "Lord, if it's you, tell me to come." And Jesus said, "Come, come." And there, with his eyes, he saw these surging waves and felt the powerful wind. And to walk on water, well, Peter got out of the boat. And lo and behold, the water held him up. Even though his eyes would have said, these waves, this wind are going to drown me, the fact is that the water held him up until he took his eyes off Jesus. And he looked at the size of the waves and he thought about the power of the wind and he began to sink because he started living by sight rather than by faith. And Jesus didn't say, "Shame, Peter, poor boy." He said, "Why have you got such little faith?" But then they did carry on walking back to the boat. Quite a story. And so you think of Abraham. God said to him, "Go to the place I'm going to show you." "Where am I going, Lord?" No, you go. When you get there, I'll tell you when to stop." So he walked by faith. He didn't know where he was going. And when he arrived at Shechem, where God told him to stop, and he did. Well, when we live our lives, we're called to live by faith. And sometimes when we look around at the things that are happening, we feel like Peter watching those waves and feeling that wind. But when you look at that story, there are three things in it. The one is Jesus called Peter. So the first thing is to be sure that God is calling you to do something, and it's not just your own foolishness. The second thing is we need to obey the call, as Peter did. He got out the boat and he started walking. And the third thing, of course, is to keep our eyes on Jesus and not on all the things that are necessarily going around us. So how do we apply this in our daily lives? Well, I think there are three areas, really. The one is issues that we are facing right now in our present life situation. Maybe a particular crisis, maybe a health crisis or financial crisis, maybe a relationship that you're really struggling with, whatever it may be. And to say, yeah, these waves are high, it's looking difficult. But Lord Jesus, I'm looking to you and I'm putting my faith in you. And as we keep our eyes fixed on Jesus, he will make a way. You know the song, God will make a way where there seems to be no way. And it is extraordinary how God takes over. Not always in the way we expect, but he does. The second thing is in our future plans. If God puts a dream into our hearts that we really want to do something for Him and for His glory, to make the most of our lives and to make the most of what He has given to us, maybe an exciting project or a thing that you feel that you would really love to do, and you hear that call inside you, well, walk by faith, not by sight. If you walk by sight, you say, I'll never get this done. It's impossible. I can't do things like this. But hand it over to God. And the third thing is our eternal hope. Paul says, hope that is seen is not hope. We look forward to an eternity with God. We live our lives knowing that there's more coming after we die. And that eternal hope we cannot see, but we put our trust in God and we walk by faith and not by sight. And then faith is not pretense, but it turns into wonderful reality as we see the work of God. May God bless you. Walk by faith this week. Don't step off the path. God bless.